Welcome to the Lawn Care Architect Podcast, soon to be the number one place on the internet to help you level up your lawn care business. I'm the host, Mr. Bouquet, aka Brian, here to help you level up your lawn care business. Look, guys, we're going live on Facebook. We're also going live on YouTube. This channel is dedicated to helping 2,000 lawn care service providers across the world in their first year level up their lawn care business and be successful. There's a statistic out there that states over 80% of lawn care service providers fail within their first year. And guys, we're trying to go live also on mobile, having a little technical difficulties. We're going to push through. We're going to continue to give you this good quality information. Hope you get some value out of this training today. Look, we're going to start off with some community posts, going over some Q&As that the community has had since I've started the channel. We're also going to do a deep dive into lawn care equipment. That is the number one place where people fail when they start their lawn care business, whether it's, purchasing too much equipment, purchasing the wrong equipment. There's many factors that go into it, but that is the number one place people fail, trying to do too much too soon. So we'll definitely dive into that. I'll show you guys all the mistakes I've made through my years of dealing with lawn care, and hopefully that'll help you avoid some of those same pitfalls and things that may help, cause you to fail within your first year. We're going to talk about customer service, how you get those clients, right? How you get those value clients, the ones that are not going to be giving you a hassle and things like that. Look, guys, every customer is not for us, but there's a way to limit your exposure to those bad customers too. And you're going to have to learn to determine, hey, whether this customer is even for me or not. So that's another key factor. We'll also do a deep dive into the number one client in the country for lawn care and landscaping services. And guys, that's the federal government. So if you're not in a good place in place to get these contracts, I know you guys see these guys on the side of the road cutting grass, or whether they're downtown, doing landscaping services or whatever. So overall, that's what this podcast is about. Hope you have your favorite beverage in hand and a pen and a pad. We're going to see how long we can go. I got a lot of information. Hate to pack it into such a short amount of time. So, of course, we will be doing follow ups. And for all those watching and catching the replay, please comment for me. Let me know whether or not you want to be on the podcast. If you're live streaming watching this, then guess what? You got the opportunity right now to go into the comments and let me know if you want to be on the podcast, the Lawn Care Architect podcast. And all I need for you guys to do is comment. Yeah, comment hashtag ready. Let me know that you are ready to be on the podcast, share your information. And that goes for anybody, whether you're new to lawn care and you have questions, or whether you're an experienced lawn care provider. We're looking to connect people in the lawn care industry to make sure everybody is sharing the information that they have from their experiences. So if you're watching this, go ahead, hit that on the comments for me, and I would appreciate it. That is the last place we're gonna, spend some time. So you guys got a little while. I want to talk about government contracting, but we want to dive in first to our community post. Guys, this is one of the main reasons why I started the podcast, started the YouTube channel, is for the community. And you'll be surprised, or at least I was surprised, at how many people are out there looking for help in their first year and looking to get started. Main reason why I started the channel, but the guys out there who are struggling getting started may not be in the same space and place to where they see a lot of guys on YouTube starting. I mean, if you look on YouTube right now, the main thing that you're probably going to see is a lot of guys cutting tall grass. And of course, we have those on the channel. We want the views too, but we also want to pass on good quality information for people that is practical. You guys are be around and doing lawn care service and doing it the wrong way because you're following these guys on YouTube who are in a different space and place. They've been doing it for years, right? So again, this community post specifically is going to be dedicated to helping those people who are out there and they're struggling to get started. And we're going to start off with one of my first posts that I got, when I started this, look, 5 months ago, just recently started my lawn care business at the age of 16. All your videos are full of great tips. Also, I like how you talk about good things, but also the bad things. Many people try to hide the reality of starting a lawn care business. And think you do a great job of showing both sides, right? And again, that's what it's all about, showing both sides of what's going on. That's coming from my man Troggett675. Guys, we're connecting the community. Of course, we can't be everywhere all the time. So if you guys are in a particular city, let us know what city you're in. Maybe we could connect you guys. You guys can share your experiences in lawn care and help you guys level up that way. That is the number one goal, again, is to help over 2,000 lawn care service providers within their first year. And this is how we do it. You want to, get the information out there for people that may not know it, that is new, that they're struggling and they see all the highlights, but they don't see the low lights of lawn care. And lawn care is not easy, it's hard. But if you're dedicated and have a process, you can get it done. This guy is going to go out and be great. I'm not sure where he's actually located. I am going to be reaching out back to him to see if maybe we can get him on the show and he can kind of tell you what his experience has been so far in lawn care. Now, you guys, the main thing we go through here in this lawn care business when we first starting is trying to get customers, right? Um, this is kind of a last post from Mr. Troggett 675. Again, I'm not sure where he's located, but this is really what we're all about. Really all about helping people grow. And this one, right, kind of took me back. Hey, I commented on the post a while ago saying how you helped me start my lawn care business. It's now mid-July, and I can't thank you enough. I went from a small business to a full-grown company at the age of 17 years old and started hiring employees because there was too many jobs. I couldn't do it myself. I'm now going to college, and soon this has helped so much. I started this journey as a test run, not thinking it would ever be as big as it is now. You're really changing people's lives, man. And I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first read this, I that kind of almost shot me to the moon, man. That again is what this is all about. If we can help just one out of those 2,000, guess what? I feel like we're doing a good job. The goal is to, of course, get more, but I really appreciate Mr. Troggett 675 being part of the community. And man, I would love to have you on the show. Congratulations on all your success. You put in the hard work by following the process. And now it's time to reap the rewards, my man. School, right? I mean, guys, we again, some of us are different space and place. For him to be able to do this in the summer is more than you can get out of me right now. You understand? Going to school, getting his college education, which is important, and he might turn around and develop more of a business mindset while he's in college, taking some of those courses to where he comes out of school and a lot of that debt that he may have. I don't know what kind of space and place he is in with school, but that may be taken care of just by, providing good quality lawn care service. And that's really what it's all about, guys. We sometimes we get caught up in trying to, do too much too soon and all that stuff. I guess, age does play a factor in that. But again, we gotta do what's good for us. So I'm super excited that he has started school, and we will be reaching out to him again, like I say, to see if we can get him on the show, get him on the podcast, let him know that he's done a great job and how he can motivate and inspire other young men his age, to get out and make something out of lawn care while there's an opportunity. And guys, we're always focused on airing opportunity on the channel. Anytime there's an opportunity to level up, that's what we're focusing on. We got a lot of people in the community, and of course, I'm not the expert on any of this. I don't know if any of us are. I don't know how long it takes you to become an expert in lawn care, just because of the fact that so much happens all the time. Different things, different days. No day in lawn care is ever the same. Ever. It's always changing. Always changing. So, you're gonna experience different things. That's why I try to share as much of the mistakes and the experience that I've had in lawn care over the last 4 years with you guys. So you don't make those same mistakes, man. And believe me, I made quite a few. Up next in the community post highlighted is Gray Joshua 713, my man out of Houston. I'm in Houston, checking you out, learning a couple things. I'm just starting my lawn care service. Been tricky out here getting customers. Some come like they want service, and then you don't hear from them. Other than that, I've gotten a few under my belt. Appreciate your content. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being part of the community, man. At Great Joshua, we're gonna, reach out to him. He is my man out of Houston, and we got to got to give him a shout out. We got to know, where everybody's located, what they're doing, and how they're being successful, so we can kind of connect the dots. So at Great Joshua is in Houston, Texas, not too far from where I'm at in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So again, we'll be reaching out to him, because what did he say? Customers are tricky. And guys, I can tell you from dealing with this for the time that I've been dealing with it, that yeah, customers are tricky, 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 tricky. And that kind of leads us into the next spot that we need to talk about. We need to talk about how are we going to get clients, how are we going to retain them, you know, and keep them in a good space and place for us. So tying it in with the community post is what we're going to be doing on the show. And we can start off right there with my man Joshua. Customers are tricky, they will remain tricky. That is just one of the things about being in lawn care. Lawn care service is completely different than any other service provider. A lot of people, a lot, do not take lawn care seriously. They think that we're just the mow and blow guys. We're out there, just cutting grass, and that we don't have any kind of business structure or anything like that. That's why, it's so iffy and tricky with customers, like Joshua mentioned. It is completely true. What is in our control is what we got to look at, right? So like I mentioned earlier, every customer is not for you. There's some customers who will drive your business the ground, into the ground. They don't care, right? So we gotta find customers that care, find customers that care about their yard and the quality of the service that they're getting. I imagine you guys have driven by somebody's house here even recently and seeing grass just stacked up, right? Stacked up, caked up after it's been cut. Doesn't look professional. There's no edge, nothing like that. So there's a couple things that cause that to happen and cause customers to be willing to accept that. And one is on us, right? We determine whether or not we're going to be the ones that leaves the grass caked up and don't leave a quality professional job. If we look back on some of the videos that we've done on the channel, you'll be able to see that one of the main focus points that I stress when you're first starting out is push mowing and bagging a customer's front yard. Look, guys, customer service is going to be A1 with your business. It's got to be. It's got to be. And those are the things that are going to separate you from other people out there that they're just mowing and blowing. That's one way you're going to get a customer. And we're going to have to understand that, you know, customers are going to tell you no, right? And nine times out of 10, if there was a customer that you wanted to close, the easiest way to do that is to assume the close. When you step into a customer's yard, when you first meet them, you want to greet them. You want to greet the customer with a smile. And I'm not talking about just going and handing them a business card and say, call me and we'll get back together later. We need to look through the yard, right? Solve the customer's issue. You greet them, you listen to what their problem may be, what the issue was with the last guy, whether he wasn't showing up or he wasn't being professional, or maybe he was leaving the grass caked up. And there's ways to solve all those issues if you're using a, zero turn, or if you're using a push mow, right? There's ways you can blow the grass off even if you're push mowing bag in the front yard the first few times. Grass is going to grow differently during different times of the year. So when we're speaking to the customer and the customer tells us the last guy left the grass caked up, the first thing we should do is set the expectations for the customer, right? That, hey, look, we've been getting a lot of rain here recently. People haven't been able to get out and get their grass cut, yards cut. The grass is growing extremely rapid. Down here, our peak growing season is July. And it just so happened this year we got a lot of rain. So, of course, there were a lot of customer issues. And it was hot. It's still hot. People were falling out of the lawn care game because of the heat, folding like dollar chair stores. They're just folding up, crunching up. Customer is not for you. You want to put yourself in a good space and place by greeting them, listening to what their problem is, and last but not least, providing a solution. So if a customer is mentioning to you, hey, the last guy he he hit the air conditioned wires and cost me, $2,000 to get it replaced. The thing that we need to do, first thing we need to do when we get on that property anytime is go check that AC. We want to make sure that we're taking pictures for ourselves, right? Keeping ourselves protected. And we also want to make sure that we're, doing our best to maintain that area around the air condition, whether it's us just, you know, being a lot more careful with our weed eating, or if we got a hand pick, we got a hand pick. Sometimes we got to do some things we don't want to do in lawn care. Again, that little bit of time will help you retain a customer because you're showing that the main thing they were concerned about, you're concerned about too. Setting the expectations is so important. We can go back to talking about the grass. One of the things you hear now is, hey, you need to lower your blade on the grass. Lower the blade, like that's going to stop us from coming, or, I guess they think it's going to last longer. But guys, again, set the expectations. Customers, obviously, they're not aware that, again, you're the professional. You're the one that they're trusting in your yard. One, they need to allow you to cut the grass to the length that you feel is best at that time. Okay. And they also need to allow you that, that leeway when, there's times that you're not going to be able to get in the yard and get it cut to the satisfaction that they may think, especially if they're on a 2 week cycle. If you miss a customer who's on a 2 week cycle, guess what? I mean, you're going to wind up either doubling up that next day, which can be difficult if you're solo, or you're going to wind up missing that customer, having to come back to get them that next week. And again, you're going to spend more time in the customer's yard because the grass has been wet. It's growing outrageously. So factor that in. We got to set the expectations with customers from the get go. And one of the key ways that I've learned how to do that, and again, I made all these mistakes. That's why I'm providing them to you. I've dealt with customers that I didn't want to deal with, and I knew that they weren't going to be the type of customer that I wanted to uh, acquire. Now, in the beginning, I know you're going to take anything that you can possibly get to kind of get started, which is a good idea. But again, if we're going to take that approach on it, we also got to set the expectations with ourselves on those customers are not going to be the core customers of our business, right? You're going to find people that want you to cut their grass right now. And if you have time, you can get it done. And they're just looking for a quick fix. And their lawn care guy may be uh, unattainable at the moment. Let's just put it to you that way, or whatever the case may be, guys. So, again, let's see if we can look at this list. I think I'm gonna try to pull this up and see if it'll actually work for us. It's probably gonna be a little too small for us to go over and read. Well, let's see if we can go full screen and give us a better idea of what we're looking at. Guys, this stuff's so important. Then again, I picked this up off of YouTube. I made my own list. Again, your own business, make a list that works for you. These are just some of the points that you want to make with a customer when you're setting the expectations about how your lawn care business is going to be running. Client responsibilities and policies. This is an on-board checking list. Now, I know you guys may say, "Hey, that's a little serious for me," but you get the results that you're looking for when you use it. And that's all I can tell you. Setting expectations is so important when we're dealing with anything concerning a customer um, in business. Timely payments, right? Scheduled service days. Guys, customers don't have to be home for you to cut the grass unless there's an access point or something like that. But again, through communication, there's ways that can be resolved. There's ways that you can get paid, as soon as you leave, things like that. So I wouldn't necessarily, hold back from using this type of wording, or when you're speaking to a customer, let them know the lawn service will be set and excluding days where it rains, or if you guys want to take off holidays, you don't cut on holidays. You want to mention that to the customer and let them know they'll be notified in advance of any schedule changes. Man, communication with our customers. Yeah, you gotta do that. I know some of us are introverts. We don't like to deal with people, and that's the reason why we got lawn care. But I always say there's a give and a take with that. You can have that attitude, and that's fine, but you gotta deal with what comes along with that. And what you're doing is relying on the customer to kind of run your business. So if they have an issue or if there's a problem and things like that in a customer's yard or whatever the case, and you haven't set the expectations, you can fully expect to deal with those issues and deal with them. Don't complain about them, deal with them, because why? You haven't set the expectation with the customer. And this is what helps you do that. We're talking about the property preparation. Now, there's situations where you're dealing with families. They may have toys, trampolines, pets, animals, or whatever the case that leave behind whatever they want to leave behind, right? And what I came up with, if a customer doesn't want to take care of that, that's costing us more time, right? So we need to charge for our time. And that's what this is all about, charging for your time. Now, if they don't want to accept the fees, if they don't realize the fees are there, it is their responsibility to read this and let us know if that works for us, for them. If it doesn't, guess what? We got the opportunity to make a decision, man. That's not the customer for me. again, guys, this is so key in your lawn care business when you're first getting started. Um, Grass cutting specifications, right? This is where we are the experts. There's different types of grass in each customer's yard, and you'll get customers that don't have that understanding. We need to have that understanding. We need to provide them with that information and let them know that if you have, centipede grass, which is really popular down here, and also St. Augustine grass, right? St. Augustine is going to cost you. That is a premium grass down here. And we have a lot of clients who are pretty specific about wanting, that type of grass in their yard. Now, with St. Augustine is a high-end grass and it requires, like I say, specific instructions on how to take care of it. And of course, the customer, all they know is they want their grass to look good. I can give you guys a specific example of a customer who I decided wasn't for me because of dealing with, you know, that type of grass, St. Augustine grass. Now, customer reached out to me. They were supposed to reach out to me last year. I'm already responsible for at that time. It was 3 yards in the community. Now it's up to 6, and this customer would have been 7. Would have been, but we had a disagreement on St. Augustine grass and what it was going to take. Customer required that, they want the grass cut weekly, and that's fine with me. But understand that if I'm cutting the grass weekly and it's St. Augustine grass, it's going to take me more time just for the fact that I'm going to be a little bit more careful, right? We already talked about this is a higher end quality grass, which the customer has already paid for to have in their yard and be maintained at a certain. So you have the money to spend on the grass, but you don't have the money or don't want to pay the money, put it to you that way, because clearly, you're in a space and place where you could. Okay. So if you don't want to spend it, they don't want to spend the money. We're creating extra time for ourselves. This covered customers' overall objection to me was I was charging a premium price for premium grass. She didn't believe because the last guy was cutting the grass for the same thing he would cut anybody else's yard for, right? So, no, I'm spending more time, more energy, and I'm not gonna, lower my standards and my value and my work just because the last guy clearly didn't know what he was doing. She was adamant about not paying more, saying that, hey, well, you're cutting it every week, so it's not going to be more work. It's not. So I'm showing up every week and I'm going to be doing less work. That didn't make sense. The logic did. And I wasn't going to sit there and debate. Like I said, I just decided on that customer was not for me. And that's okay, guys. I'm telling you, one thing you will learn in this lawn care business, you can ask any guy who's been doing this for a long time, and they'll tell you straight up, hey, every time I've lost a customer, I've gained 2 or 3. And when I tell you, there's one of the things I heard, I'm like, yeah, right. Until I actually started doing it, and it's so real. I do definitely believe there's a energy that you can put out in the air with a positive attitude, and that's really what that is about, guys. Um, Again, we got to know our information, and that's where we, have to, focus on our craft, practice on our craft, and learn the different types of grass that's in the customer's yard is key because that'll make a difference too on how long you spend in the yard once grass season starts. Really booming. Again, ours tends to be from anywhere from the end of June till somewhere about mid-August. After that, everything kind of slows down. So we're in that season now where it's going to start to slow down. Um, we're going to start to reap the benefits, of cutting and maintaining these clients' yards for as long as we have. because we're going to start to get down the process of how we take care of them. And again, that's so important in lawn care. First time service visits. Guys, first time service visits are so important. Now, I'm talking about whether you're just starting the year out, right, with your new customers, and this is the first cut of the year. We want to make sure we set the expectations with the customer. Hey, we're gonna have to do some cleanup. There's probably gonna be some leaves left over. Also, probably gonna be sticks, whatever the case. If the trees in the yard, the hedges will probably be terrible. Flower beds will be full of weeds and things like that. So we have to have in our head that the first service visit may cost the customer a little bit more. And guys, we need to kind of have in our head what we're willing to charge for the extra time that we're going to be spending in the customer's yard. Uh, any work outside the normal scope of service work will be scheduled for the next visit. Yeah. Now, it'll shock you when you get out there and customers will normally ask you to do this and that, little things, whether it's, you know, weed eat around this flower bed, or things like, well, I need this mulch put down in the flower bed. And they're believing that, hey, he has time to do that today. When you first get started, you may. And this is one of those things that we have to kind of take in for our own and see if it's something that, is to our advantage. But the customers are going to ask. So that's why I put any additional work and requests for work will be done on the next scheduled visit. And even then, it may require its own special visit, which, you can discuss, guys. Um, I really hope you guys take the time to kind of get this set up in your business. Again, make it, you know, set up for your business and how you want to do things with your customers. But that's what I find works for me. And we all need that. We all need that, man. All need that. Now, what's up next? We gotta talk about this equipment, man. We got to talk about equipment. Gotta talk about it, man. This is the number one place, right? And as you see, we got a little video here with the lawnmower that I started with and that I'm still using today, guys. Um, we gotta, like I say, have ourselves in a good space and place when we get started. A lot of guys get out there and they start lawn care and they fail because of the equipment that they purchased. The equipment is going to be the number one place you fail. So it's important to us that we be in a good space and place, man. Don't find yourself out there trying to be like whoever you see on YouTube with the trailer full of equipment. They got 4 or 5 0 turns and 10 weeders on a stretch trailer and the mows on the end. And guess what? It's just them. Yeah, we can only use one piece of equipment at a time. Now, we're going to do a deep dive into this for sure because there are reasons why you may want to have more equipment with you, depending on what space and place you're at. When you're first getting started, guys, like I say, that Honda mower is going to be the route you want to go. Get you a Honda mower. It's going to determine whether or not you're actually in this to win it or if you're just in this to be in this, right? If you're out there in a customer's yard, push more in the yard, and it's 100 degrees, and you push yourself through that, guys, the rest of this is gonna be a breeze. Still gonna have issues, still gonna have problems, but the rest of this is gonna be a breeze. That's why I recommend that Honda mower is not one of those higher end mowers that's gonna cost you a whole lot of money. I think it's went up a lot since I purchased it, but it's still reasonable for what you get. And today, that is the same mower I'm running. It's still working. Mowers can be kind of funny. We want to make sure with our mower we have a lot of not don't have a lot of plastic parts on it. Put it to you that way. They'll tend to break, but as long as you're performing the proper maintenance on your equipment and your mold, getting the oil change, making sure the tires are running right for you, you'll be good to go. You shouldn't have any problems out of that Honda mower at all, at all. So that's where you start off at, guys. You don't go get yourself a zero turn. You haven't spent too much money when you go with this option. Weed eaters, weed eaters, guys. You'd be surprised how important your weed eater is. Your weed eater is the number one thing that you need to have when you're running a lawn care business. The number one piece of equipment. You're gonna use it most. Probably gonna break it down on you the most, depending on how you're using it. If we look at the channel, lawn care architect channel, I am an Echo fanboy. I do use Echo products. I love Echo products. The Echo SRM 225 and the Echo Pass 225, which are weed eaters, are where I recommend you start off with just because I've used the product. They're lightweight. They give you enough power that you're going to need in your lawn care business when you first start. And again, they're also economical, and you can get those on a budget and not have to worry about a lot of headaches when it comes to service. One, if you're using the weed eater properly and maintaining it, which is something we're going to talk about, the proper use of your weed eater. Man, I know you guys see people out there that turn the weed eater over and they'll edge with it, gives them a nice sharp line. God, I've been there. I've been doing it. And guess what? Right now, I currently have two weed eaters that have the pistons locked up on them. The reason why they have the pistons locked up on them is because I've been using them improperly, right? You can see in some of my videos the mistakes that I made, but it's all a learning process, and it shouldn't take you two weed eaters to figure it out. It took me that long. Guys, don't make that mistake. Now that these pistons are seized, it kind of slows my business down, but we always got to have an additional backup. And I'm currently using an Echo Curve Shaft weed eater. Curve shaft weed eater in commercial is not ideal, guys, but we're getting it done. I'm actually developing my skills, and this is all because of what I've done with the other two weed eaters. I think I can get them working and get them fixed, but we're working on that, doing some research on YouTube. There, quite couple different ways you can go ahead and get those pistons unseized. So hopefully we'll get out there tomorrow and get that done, and we'll be back in business. So it's important that you get the right, and that's with any weed eater. If you're turning the weed eater upside down, it doesn't matter what manufacturer you have. If it's a gas weed eater, that's just like turning a car upside down and running it. Eventually, gravity's going to affect, and the gas is going to be going in the wrong direction, guys. So, again, I'm gonna give you the hardcore, honest truth about the mistakes I made and the money it's cost me. Those two weed eaters cost me quite a few yards. Now, and that's like how I refer to money in this channel. Don't like to talk about dollar amounts, but those two weed eaters, let's see, all together, we're probably looking at what 15 yards worth of money that kind of is going down the drain as far as right now because they're not working. They're not productive. They're not producing revenue in my business right now. Guys, be careful with what you're doing with your weed eaters. Use it the right way. I also perform maintenance on it to make sure, I know it takes time and energy. You've cut, 10 yards that day, 8 to 10 yards. You're tired. And guess what? You got to get the next day and do it again. But we have the proper equipment. That's going to help us out. That's going to help us out. And if we're using it the right way, we won't run into those type of specific issues. Now, leaders, we talked about the lawnmowers. Now we're gonna get into the blowers. God, when you get started, you don't need a backpack blower, but there are some economical choices for backpack blowers too. You can get a backpack blower now on Amazon for under $100. The quality again is, I'm assuming it's pretty decent. I see a lot of people with them, and at that price point, you can afford probably to get you a couple, of $100. But if you want to get started off with a backpack blower, that would be my recommendation. Otherwise, just get you a handheld blower that's going to give you the power that you need. You're going to do a little bit more work, but that is the best way for you to get started in lawn care as far as equipment is concerned, causing issues and just, but hey, what I'll be doing a live stream. Let's talk about the last piece of equipment that I'm sure you guys are anxious to talk about. And that is, the zero turns, the big boys, the bad boys. But we're not the big dogs yet, right? So, that's one of those things you're gonna have to determine in your business whether you're ready to get that done. Zero turn mowers can run you anywhere, from $3,500 all the way on up, $15,000 for a zero turn, man. You want to start off at that low end. I started off with the Cub Cadet ZT1 50-inch mower. Um, I put it through its paces. I soon will be doing a review on that also, and there's some good and some bad with it, but as always, we're gonna give you the truth. I love the Cub Cadet. I'm glad I purchased it. But there are things with it that aren't perfect. The key with a lot of this, a lot of the equipment you're gonna purchase is gonna be customer service. How willing is the customer service to work with you and keep you as a customer? I actually just recently had a phone call with Echo, talking about those weed eaters, and the pistons being seized on them. Um, and as far as being in, customer service with the world leading wireless care for as long as I was, you find out what is good and bad customer service. And from the quality of the call that we had, which I did record and I do plan on sharing on the channel to let you guys know that it's important that you have good quality customer service behind all this equipment that you're purchasing, whether they're going to help you find a repair center or whether they're going to send you out, a new piece of equipment, right? Those are the two high end expectations that we have, that we get our problem solved, and at the end of the day that our equipment is working like it's new. So I went through that conversation with them. They did direct me, and it put me in the right direction. But again, I think it's one of those things that I just want to look at myself, because it's still no telling whether or not I'm going to be charged, or how much I'm going to be charged for the repair, which of course they couldn't tell me over the phone. But they did give me some good insights and let me know that Echo's customer service is number one. Cub Cadet, they did their job when I first purchased the zero turn. Had some issues with purchasing it from the retailer, Home Depot. So I reached out to them directly, and this was a combination of Home Depot and Cub Cadet. So I reached out to Cub Cadet, let them know the issues I was having at Home Depot. They reached out to Home Depot, and Home Depot was all over it. I actually had one shipped to me in a crate, which is again something I do recommend that you do. If you get a zero turn, try to get that bad boy shipped to you, or make sure you're the one that cracks it out the case, right? We don't want to be buying demo zero turns from Home Depot that have been sitting out in the rain, or taking abuse, whatever's going on up there. The employees that don't know how to properly maintain them and things like that. A lot of times you'll get a bad piece of equipment. So suggestions: if you get one, get it shipped to you. Get it shipped to you, save yourself trouble. Now you know exactly what it's been through, and what's going on with it. Um, guys, equipment is going to definitely make or break your business. That's all I can tell you. Uh, Again, I'll show you the things that I've gone through with it. All my equipment. We even get into talking about weed eater string. What's the best weed eater string out there? And believe me, there are a lot of people who have opinions on weed eater string. Now, just told you guys I'm using a curved shaft weed eater, which doesn't have a speed feed head on it, which requires me to cut a couple pieces of string and put it on there, right? So I decided if I'm in that situation, and you do use more string when you're using the curved shaft weed eater. That's just one of the downfalls of having it, especially when it's that way. So what I decided to do was go to Walmart and get me some cheap string, right? And guess what? I was surprised at how well it worked. It actually worked better than some of these other high end strings you may find, like Black Diamond, for instance, which was one of my favorites. But we might be switching over, and I'm not gonna lie to you. We'll do a video on this basic weed ear string and how much I paid for it. And I seriously may never go back to anything else. If I have to be emergency cases, especially when we're first starting out, right? We want to try to save as much money as we possibly can, but get us a good quality product. And that's going to be one of the ways that we do that, guys. Got to, got to make sure we're launching on our equipment and getting the correct equipment when we first getting started. Now, guys, I know some guys may look at this and they may say, hey, I don't want to be involved with the government. And I'm telling you, that's fine. You can go ahead and, jump off the podcast or whatever the case may be, and find another way to deal with the world's actually, and of course, in the United States, the biggest consumer of lawn care and landscaping is this right here. The federal government, will do a deeper dive into the federal government and what it has to offer you as a lawn care service provider. A lot of the reason people don't want to do it is because they think it's hard, it's difficult, it's not for me. There's so many ways that you can put yourself in a good space and place by getting certain certifications, making sure you're registered with sam.gov, being in it to win it. Those certifications are so key. Again, we always like to give you the background on why we're doing things and how we're doing things in the lawn care business. So, what you want to do first is register with sam.gov, right? You want to go and check out your local procurement offices. Your local procurement offices are going to be easy to find. Just go and Google them for your state and your city, and they'll pop up. At that point, they'll let you know everything that they have going on at their state purchasing offices where they're making the decisions and also providing you with these contract opportunities. Now, if you have certain certifications, there are certain contracts in certain areas where they work with people who have those certifications. The certain part of the contract has to be. A prime example of all of this is just here recently, I was able to attend a bid proposal meeting for our local airport to have some lawn care and landscaping done for them. Um, Guess what? I showed up, and in the building at the meeting, there were only four people. Now, this contract is going to be life changing for whoever gets it, right? Especially for a small business. Big business, it may just be, what it is. But like I told you, the big businesses have to work with somebody, a local entrepreneur who has the qualifications and certifications in order to do this. So either way, whether go in and you wind up getting a full contract, if you're able to do the scope of the work, or if you get in as a subcontractor with one of the big dogs who already has this in line, gives you plenty of opportunity to mentorship, right? Meet people. And while I was attending this meeting, like I said, there were only 5 people there, and I think I might have been the only one in the room with certifications to qualify. So after the meeting was done, those other 4 to 5 people came up and talked to me. One of them was a big company who didn't have the certification, require somebody to help them out. The other 2 people were local representatives with the government that were there. They came up and spoke because they have, organizations set up to where they help people like me get these contracts. If I'm not aware of the contracts and where they're going on, they reach out to me and connect us. And that's where the networking starts. So you can get into some of this money, guys. We're going to do a deep dive into government contracting because there's so much money out there to be accessed. This particular contract at the airport was actually a rebid, which explains to you what type of situation they're in. They're not finding the people that are capable to do the scope of the work, and they're not finding the people with the certifications that's required in the contract. So that's why we're here. We're here to help you level up your lawn care business through state and federal and local government. These certifications, they're not hard to get. We talked about earlier why it's important for you to have a website for your business, your lawn care business, even though don't want to do it. One, you're able to have a link, you know, on your website that you can provide that list, that check-in list, the qualification list to see if a customer even lines up for you. We gotta give them the information, leave it up on them to check it, provide them with the link. You can text it to them. Say it's mandatory that my customers read this. You know, it just sets the expectations for your customer. Number two, it's required by the federal government. If you want to do business with the federal government, you got to have a website. So all this stuff ties into each other. I know it's a process. I know it can seem like it's a lot to do, but it's our job every day to get better at our craft. Our craft just happens to be lawn care. So whether you're investing a little bit of time into, making sure your taxes are straight, making sure you're out getting these certifications, making sure that you're attending some networking events. These local procurement offices have people that they deal with that offer you training on how to get these certifications. They also provide networking events for you to meet, your cohorts or the people, that can get you in, a good space and place. It's always and always will be about who you know, not necessarily about what you know. Because who you know determines what you know, right? Where we getting this information from? From the people that we know. So, it's a balance there, but it's important that you keep showing up, coming to these networking events, meeting people, not just handing out business cards, making sure you're contacting these people afterwards. Guys, there's just too much air and opportunity for you to be known. I've been blessed, you, as far as making good connections with people, learning from, had the opportunity to meet one of our male candidates here in Baton Rouge and take a picture with him one on one, have a conversation with him. And now he knows my face, So that's how you get your business out there. That's how you find out, you know, how this is all done is by meeting people. And the networking part of it is probably the key point that I want to give you guys in this. Like I say, we're gonna do a deep dive a deep dive into government contracting. We're going to do a separate podcast altogether. Look, guys, it's been great. I hope this information has been valuable to you. Go back and check it out on the replay. If you missed anything while you're watching it on live stream, on Facebook and YouTube. And this is the Lawn Care Architect, guys, telling you go out there and be great today in lawn care. Appreciate your time and energy. Let's go.